Well, hello everybody. Hey Rachel, how are you?
Good.
I'm
How are
doing
you,
good. I'm
Andy?
doing good. Had a good weekend. Did you have a good weekend?
Yeah, it was pretty relaxing. Aside from it being really smoky and terrible
Mm,
outside, um, it, you know, aside from that, pretty good. How about
good.
you?
Yeah, it was. I also had a relaxing weekend. Last night, one of my friends and I we finished watching Raised by Wolves, the sci-fi series, the Ridley Scott sci-fi series. Uh,
What do you think of it?
I thought it was amazing. I thought it was amazing. I mean, it goes in really unexpected directions, and it's really good sci-fi. Really, so I loved it. I really can't say enough good things about it. It was awesome.
Sounds like I got to check it out then. I'll follow up with you later on that one.
Yeah, and we got caught up on the boys, the superhero
Oh,
show, which is fantastic as well. So yeah, it's good. It's a good relaxing weekend.
glad to hear it.
Yeah,
Do we want to get into some news before we bring on our guest, Keith?
yeah, let's do it. So really, I think the big news that was most shocking, for me yesterday or last week was I think it was announced on Friday that Universal is going to close Volcano Bay for the season on November 2nd until March 1st is what they say they're going to reopen. So they're going to be closed for 4 months, 4 whole months. I mean, it can get cold in Florida in the winter, and it's a challenging time for water parks. Like Disney, only has one park open per season. Usually, and then one goes down for refurb, and then the other is open for the season, and they're only open for like 6 hours. So it's a challenging time of the year for water parks. But I mean, they've always been open year round, and it's just was surprising to see that they're like, well, it's another cut that's being made, because of the situation.
Yeah, the hits feel like they keep coming and coming.
Yeah. So I mean, I think we need to address the elephant in the room too. Patrick's not here today. He's taking a little break from the show for his wife's birthday, and happy birthday to her. I think that was yesterday or the day before. I'm not sure. Anyway, but it's just you and me today, and our guest Keith Kaminski, who's a really good friend of mine. I've worked with him for many years on various projects, most notably the Themed Entertainment Awards. There he is. There's Keith Kaminski. Hi, everybody.
Hi, everybody. Hi, Rachel. And
Thanks for coming on the show.
sure, thanks for inviting me.
Keith, I've known you for a long time. We worked together for a long time on a lot of stuff, and most notably, I wanted to bring you on for the spooky season because I don't know. I mean, you're known the world over for your art direction and production design and creative direction for theme parks and theme entertainment and special venue kind of stuff everywhere all over the world. But I think I was first introduced to your work at your home hut here in Burbank, California, which is also world famous because it's so batshit crazy and fun. And hey, it's a web show. We can swear a little bit. It's fine. But I'm just so pleased to have you on to talk about this and your life and your work and what led you to create this absolutely insane show that you put on some years on your front yard.
Yes, the front yard.
So let's get into it. Like, let's talk about who's Keith Kaminski. Who is this guy? Why is he on our show?
Well, obviously, Halloween is a big part of my life, and it's always been since I was a little boy. Um, we used to set up our front lawn. We lived on Virginia Street here in Burbank, and my dad and mom would be out there with their friends, and I'd always have a plan, like, can we make this look like this? And my dad would always figure out a way to make it happen. Like when they open the door, I want a spider to come down over here or whatever. So we rigged, string across that would open and close, and then did that all the way up through high school. And then after I graduated high school, I'm not going to tell you the year, but you're going to find out soon enough. I started doing these like backyard walkthroughs. This one you're looking at right now was my second one. I don't have any pictures of the first one, but super low budget. Everything we found, I mean, still to this day we go super low budget, but cardboard, just stuff we could find. And the first year that we did this, I remember this was so funny. We needed black paint. really bad, and it was like $14 a gallon or something like that. And so my friend and I bought a can of tar instead because it was only like $5. So we painted all the scenery with tar, and we didn't know that tar doesn't really dry, so it was a big mess. But if you go through a few of these, this is my cousins there.
So were your parents in the industry at all, or it was just this something?
I had relatives and friends of my dad's friends and stuff that worked at WED, and I always wanted to work at Disneyland, or for Disney, which still to this day I haven't. But I was doing this because, well, not this young age. I was just doing this. We were having fun. But as we got a little bit older, I was doing it because I couldn't get a job in the industry because I didn't have a portfolio. So I figured, you know what, I'll build my own sets and design my own sets and scenery with a lot of helping hands. And then I'd photograph them and put them in my portfolio, and then built a portfolio that I could show.
A really good idea. Very sneaky.
My first entertainment job.
And did it work?
It did. I made it.
The reason I asked if your parents were in the industry is because I don't know if everybody around the world watching this now and forever understands, but you grew up in, and I live and work in Burbank, California, which is literally the epicenter of entertainment production for basically the Western world. I'm sandwiched between Disney, Universal, and Warner Brothers. I mean, I could walk to Disney and Warner Brothers from my studio in about 5 or 10 minutes. And you live just a few blocks from Disney.
Not even that. They're in the next street over, right behind me, right here.
Yeah.
They're
so it's a big company town. I would say a third or half of the people living in Burbank work in the entertainment industry in some capacity or some related capacity. So there's a lot of really creative, really resourceful people here in town, and a lot of these kinds of home haunts sprung up over the last 30 or 40 years, and some of them, like yours, are really elaborate and really impressive, and really rival the big corporate haunts that we have now.
Yeah, and everybody asks me, like, did you see this haunted house? Did you see this haunted house? And I'm like, no, because I was at my own. So for years and years, our schedules were so the same. The number of nights they were open, the same number of nights I was open. I could never go see stuff. I'd see Knott's every year because they would open like on a Tuesday, and I could go to that. But if it was on a weekend or anything, there's no way.
Yeah.
And I also got into parades. This is back in, what was this, 87. And that yellow truck you see there, I still own that truck. And that became several floats in the Burbank on Parade. And we would do this to advertise the Fright Gallery, which we would then, the Chamber of Nightmares. We changed our name after we brought on and changed some people in the group. But that truck has been through hell with
wow, that's so cool.
Yeah. So we did that a few years. This was one of the first walkthroughs. We would do them at, my mom's partner, Carol, worked at the Parks and Recreation Department in Burbank. And during this season, the swimming pools were closed. And we were always looking for a location that we could do a maze. And so for, I think, 6 years, we did walk-through mazes at McCambridge Park and Paducah Park in their swimming pool locker rooms, which are virtually very hard to build anything in because the floors are cement, the walls are cement, ceiling cement, everything's light blue, and you can't fasten anything to anything. So we figured out all kinds of clever ways to force boards between the ceiling and the floor and clamp them, and we would do about 7 nights of haunts, and they just got more and more and more elaborate, more effects. This is the lower right-hand picture is my sister Jolene, and my partner in this at this time with the Halloween was John Schaefer, and they were making a mold of my head because we're going to do a scene where I would get my head cut off. So that's me in the middle there underneath the plaster.
What kinds of haunts had you gone to that inspired you to create all of these, or did you just had
It
you?
was mostly Knott's Berry Farm.
Oh, okay,
Knott's
it's
Berry
Scary
Farm.
Farm, yeah.
Yeah, I
Which
think so.
started like in '79, or when was that? '77?
Uh, Probably around then.
Yeah, I don't remember. I
I probably
probably
didn't start going until a little after that. But yeah, I don't know. I would go to haunted house with older friends. They would take us on a tour. They'd all throw us in their truck, and we'd go to like 5 or 6 haunts. Some were house haunts, some were walkthroughs. And I remember one night we went with my friend Teresa's cousin or older cousin or something, and he was paying all the admission to all the haunts, and I was like, wow, this guy's loaded. We were $1.50, but
right.
still. And I remember my first haunt in 1979. We made $111. We charged $1 per person.
Wow, you were rich.
I know, we were like so thrilled.
That probably maybe covered a third of the materials.
I know. We up to this day, I've never made a cent on any of this. I
Yeah,
mean, we'll get close sometimes in donations, but never really hit that black mark.
yeah, because
So,
every year it gets bigger and bigger and more expensive.
yeah. But we'll buy more lumber. We buy whatever. This is Main Street, USA, which was, I think this was the last. No. Yeah, this was the last walkthrough that we did, and this was at Verdugo Park. And as you can see, it got incredibly elaborate, and all of this is built within those cement walls of the locker rooms. And I was going to explain. See that bowling pin that's a topiary there in the upper right?
Uh-huh.
Many haunts and walkthroughs that we did, it was always based on some crazy prop we had found that year, and then we write an entire show around it.
Oh,
And
funny.
this was one of those years. My friend Dawn worked at Jerry's Deli, and it's also a bowling alley. And she said, "Hey, they're selling all the old bowling pins for like $1. Could you use them? Do you want any?" So I bought I think I bought 2 sets of 10 bowling pins. And then that became the theme of the show, was this crazy woman who liked to bowl, and in the meantime was murdering all of these people. It was
Like you do.
crazy. Yeah.
And then did this start leading to, okay, we got more of these
That's the
walkthroughs?
same year. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's me, Damien. I was always Damien Tobbs. Oh, these are still some of the walkthroughs. This one in the lower right is an effect I started playing with, which was a fake mirror. And we got a lot of bang out of this one. We've even done it in the live shows on the lawn, where there's 2 girls sitting there. Luckily they happened to be twins, so it worked out really good. But we built a duplicate set on each side of the room, and then it would look like a reflection, but it wasn't.
It's awesome.
Yeah. If we play some video clips later of the live shows, you'll see that effect in action. So then, 93, I decided to call it quits. It got too elaborate. It took too many people to do it, too much organization, money, time. Sold everything off, except for my key props. And then I had just bought this house with my partner in 94, and it had a great sloped lawn. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to just take it easy. I'm going to make some tombstones and make it cool. Just a thing to stand there and look at. And it was the best year of my life for a long time.
So relaxing comparatively.
Oh my God. I was like so calm, and people go, "You want me to come over and help?" I'm like, "If you want to," and I'm okay. So, okay. And so from then it just took
Of course.
off. So the next year, 95, it got a little more elaborate, as you could tell by the archway over the driveway, a little more lighting. And then inside the house, that upper left-hand picture, I started decorating inside the house so that when you walked up to get your candy, you could look in the windows, and it was just an extension of the scene that was happening outside. And this year, my friend Eric, who I'll tell you more about, he's our videographer, he said, "Let's do a little scene where I'll wander out, when there's people looking, I'll wander out there, and you all come out as vampires and attack me and throw me down on the ground and, rip me apart. It'd be our little show." I'm like, okay. So we did that every, 15 minutes. and then 96, well, I'm looking at my cheat sheet over here. We decided to write a spoof song to play at we called this the Graveside Diner, and we spoofed a song from Beauty and the Beast, Be Our Guest, but this was Eat Our Dead. And we would sit around at our backyard table or at a restaurant, and all of the people that were involved in this would just brainstorm ideas with, wouldn't it be funny if we made a menu that has all these funny human foods and stuff? And so it just developed into this diner theme.
That's how all the best ideas come, is just sitting around at a restaurant and brainstorming and stuff. That's how we came up with the Universe and You song for the Men in Black ride. It was just me and Dave Cobb sitting at a restaurant across the street from Universal and being like, what about this? What about that?
And then you're like, is anybody writing this down?
Yeah. No, he was. Thankfully somebody was, yeah.
So when we went to my friend Bryce, who is a musical genius and composes all of the music for all this, because this is way before you could just order a karaoke track. And even if we could find one, the background vocals didn't match the vocals that we were changing the lyrics to. So we had to recreate it. And his wife is the one that's in the waitress outfit there. She's a singer, and she, up until this day, she does virtually every female vocal. She did The Little Mermaid, you'll see in a minute. And Jeff, who's in the striped outfit, he's a performer in Palm Springs now, but he sang virtually all of the male parts of all of our shows because everything was lip synced. We couldn't trust anybody to sing properly night after night.
Yeah, especially you'd blow your voice out, and also then you couldn't drink.
True. So what happened here is we were all at Bobby and Bryce's house, and they were recording the song upstairs, and the rest of us were just hanging out in the lower floor. We're listening through the door, them singing, and we just started like dancing a little bit, like, oh look. And then we thought, well, what if we do a little dance thing out on the lawn? And here you can see it. And we didn't even have a cast at this point. There was like 8 of us that knew the dance routine. You had to learn the left side or the right side, or should I say stage left, stage right. And then we'd go, hey, there's people out there. We're going to do a show. So the code was Jeff, the lead, would go, catch up. And then we'd all know it was time for a show. And whoever the 4 were standing closest to the lawn at that point ran out there and did this little dance thing, usually for like 8 people at the most, because people were just wandering up. We didn't have any show times or any announcements of it or anything.
It's a slippery slope, this.
The grass is a slippery slope. Lots of funny falls on that grass during dance.
No, I meant metaphorically.
I know, but I was taking
and it's on a slope.
Oh my God, we had more dancers wipe out on that stage. Again, more elaborate. We decided we're doing dance shows and singing and stuff. So this was Arabian Frights, which was 97. And we had the Dooms Hotel, which is that architecture you see there. And I like to show these pictures because nobody ever understands that we build everything literally out of cardboard and hot glue. And there's some styrofoam in there, but everything we've ever built is cardboard.
Would you say that these skills translated to your real life work, or the other way around? Did things develop, your skills develop concurrently? What would you say? Like, I'm sure that there's a lot of crossover and overlap with your work and your hobby.
Well, one thing it for sure taught me is how to manage people and how to run a crew and keep them all happy or pretend they're happy. I mean, this is all volunteer stuff. But of course I learned materials and what you could do with them. And they would always laugh, like, do you have a drawing of what this is going to look like when it's done? I'm like, I had one little blue line sketch that I did and yeah, it's all up here. But yeah, it was a lot of challenging things, but it was very rewarding at the end.
Did we have any videos of these earlier shows?
I do, but they're all on DVD.
Oh, okay.
Or no, sorry, VHS.
VHS.
Little
Okay.
by little, I've been taking them to Costco to get them transferred to DVD. And I sent Rachel some clips of later shows,
Okay.
but I don't have this one. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
We used to do, this is the first time we asked for tips. You can see the wishing well there.
Oh, nice.
And I remember we made $75 in 2 nights, which, covered some of our costs. But and you see our show schedule there. We did it every half an hour.
Wow.
Shows were typically 12 minutes long, 12 to 15 minutes long. And then we'd all run in the back, talk. Oh my, remember when that happened? Oh, did you see when I screwed up that? And then it's like, oh crap, it's showtime already again.
It's like a theme park. I mean, but like even more an aggressive schedule because theme parks, you get like it's a 20-minute show, and then it's an hour, maybe a 30 or 40 minutes between each show.
Yeah.
And then you're only doing like 4 or 5 shows tops, whatever the union rules are, and it's that's aggressive.
Barely enough time to pee, and everybody that was there visiting one of their friends that was in the cast, they'd all come backstage too. And then they all want to talk. How you doing? What are you doing? I'm like, I got 4 minutes. I got to be back on that long, So
that's crazy. It's amazing. It's intense.
So that's inside the house. I think that's the last time I brought the show inside. But there's a bigger crowd now, as you can see in the lower left. Every year, the crowds were getting bigger and bigger. There's me in the middle and my dazzling showgirls.
Oh, I love their web wings.
Yeah, they're beads, actually. You can't tell, but they came out with them closed.
Uh-huh.
And at the right time, they opened them into the
wow.
And we always theme all of our tombstones to each show, too. So you can only see one in this one. It's a MT Wallet. Shot his load. Now he's something, I don't know. But, it always became a thing that they had to change the theme,
Wow. I wish I would have seen these earlier shows.
This year, we decided to go very simple because I was in Orlando. This was part of my 2-year stint in Orlando doing Islands of Adventure. I was relocated there. So we started building the scenery like in September, I think, like Labor Day, because I had come home for a work trip. We worked for the weekend. This one I did a lot of drawings because a lot of this was built in my absence, which was very fun to come back after being gone for 2 weeks and seeing all this progress. So yeah, they did a great job on this, the whole crew. Those are the tombstones before I painted them out. So I had a very small part in the show because I couldn't rehearse and learn and dance and all that stuff. So I just did the opening and closing monologue. Did they call the closing a monologue too?
Sure.
Okay. I did the opening and closing of the show. And that born the character Pappy Tobbs, which became Damien's grandfather, Pappy. And he appears in a couple of other shows after this. But it was based on Screamakers. And it was really funny because we mixed dance with comedy. Like the music would stop, and then somebody would pop out from one of those windows or whatever and tell some corny joke. And I should mention my friend Scott Weitz, who joined us way back in, just showed up one day and said, "Hey, can I help you guys?" And we're like, "Yeah." And he goes, "I'm a writer." And we're like, "Really?"
Yeah.
We never had a script. So he has been instrumental in writing all of these parody songs and all of the scripts for us for years. That's him and oh no, that's not him. Anyway, but yeah, he's great. He's gotten into the entertainment industry, after he's been trying for years, and he's really getting in there now. So we're really proud of him. But that's me as Pappy there.
Yeah. Like an old prospector.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
All right, what's next?
I don't know, Rachel. I think next is Shipwreck Shores, which became the crowd and our fans and our cast and everybody we've ever seen one of our shows. It's been their favorite. And it was 1999. It's based on The Little Mermaid. And I think we have a video clip of this one if you want to see it.
Yeah, definitely. I think Rachel,
So, Jeff Stewart, who played the funny clown in the Graveside Diner, also plays a bunch of characters leading up from this one. But this is him as the Little Mermaid. And this is, I think, the opening sequence of that show.
Is there audio, or we're just can't hear it?
There should be. It's not going to be the same without the audio.
Well, it looks great.
That is two people burying their father. They're holding an urn, and his name is Pappy. So they said, why don't we bury him at the bottom of the ocean? No, she says it feels like we're littering. He says, there's nobody down there to complain, and he throws it in. Throws it in the ocean.
Let's pause it for a second and see if we can get the audio working.
Yeah, I think that would be cool. I won't tell you anymore, so you can be surprised.
Yeah, I can't remember if I saw this or if I saw the video and I'm imagining seeing it.
Well, this one lives on YouTube.
Yeah.
So anybody can go and search The Fright Gallery.
Yeah.
And my friend Eric, who does all of our editing and shooting, put this one, and there's a couple other that are coming up later.
Yeah, I do remember watching the one that with the high school musical one.
That was our very last one we ever did.
Yeah, I do remember standing and watching that for sure, but I can't remember if I saw this one in person or not, or if I'm just imagining that I saw it.
Oh no, I'm in my middle 40s and we're dancing to High School Musical. Pretty fun.
All right, well, Rachel says that she's playing it off her desktop, so we can't get audio. So let's just talk us through it.
Okay, so it's very dark, but now you're suddenly transformed under the ocean, and to do that, we had water effects come up. We had the lighting change. His urn is floating down, and seaweed is coming up, so it looks like you're going down. And in the meantime, this rock starts to spin around to the sound of the music of The Little Mermaid, and reveal. We called her Burial, the brittle mermaid, because that's beautiful. Jeff Stewart as Burial. And he sings "Under That World," and his song is about wanting to be buried under that world rather than dead under the ocean, where there's nothing to do down there. There's no fun. There's one point she says, "You want channel swimmers? You want channel swimmers? I've got 20," and she pulls up a severed head with a bathing cap on that has the number 20 on the side of it. Then we acted out some of the key lines in silhouette there. You saw one. And that song ends, and then we start the next song, which is I come out, slap her in the face, say, "Snap out of it." What were the real words of the song? I never remember them anymore. "Death Under the Sea is better than anything they got up there." Maybe somebody can comment below. That's if any of my friends are watching, figure it out. Yes. Okay. Yeah, it was. Oh, there it is. The channel swimmer. I got 20. So without hearing the lyrics, it's probably not really entertaining, but very, very funny.
It's so amazing. So amazing.
She's actually standing in that rock, and the fish or tail, which is they're wooden coat hangers that we shaved down and strung all together to make the bones of her.
Oh my gosh, how funny!
Yeah, anything we could find would turn into a prop.
Amazing. Wow.
And the car and the ship. I wish I sent you just a still picture of the ship. It went all the way from one neighbor's house to the other neighbor's house.
Oh, wow.
And it was all cardboard and bed sheets. And
Did you have any famous neighbors at the time, or just very understanding neighbors?
Well, because the show grew so slowly over the years, they knew it was coming and they knew it was happening. So everybody was pretty good about it. The thing they didn't like is people would trample through their flower beds, or they would, park across their driveway and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
we would pass out a nice letter before we were ever going to do it, with a schedule, with our phone numbers, and said, if you have any problems, please let us know. But by the end of this, we were just, it was so overrun with people, and it really, that's a funny scene right there where she says, roast me to toast and display in a, what's the word, urn, and then the shadow was putting fish in the oven and pulling out an urn.
And all the shadow stuff is performed live as well. It wasn't
that's all live.
That's crazy.
And that scrim that we used in that scene was used when we got to the dance number, because the band appeared behind the scrim as if they were inside the sheep, or inside the ship, I mean. So
that's amazing. Oh, let's go to the picture of the ship. Is it on the PDF?
I don't know. I'm sorry. You know what? I didn't provide that. I'm sorry.
That's okay. Well, what do we have next? Was that the end of the PDF, or was there more?
I think that was the end of the photographs.
Okay.
I don't know. I have to ask Rachel. Oh, end of photographs. So,
right, so the next year, so how did that end? That show end?
With a big ta-da, like all of our shows. It ended with the dance was finishing up. All the dancers were disappearing into the set. I was out there just still like this, and then I turned around, the lights went off, and everything went back to normal, as if I just dreamt the whole thing. So that was fun. And then this one is based on Gilligan's Island. We called it Grilligan's Island, and the entire cast of castaways were all their names were
puns.
They were puns on being burned, because they were all sacrificed into a volcano by the cannibals.
Oh, funny.
And so this is the voice of Jeff doing the kind of the lead-in of what the story was about the shipwreck. We were never discovered. So this is still Gilligan, the cast of Gilligan. They still live on this island even after they're dead. And we had a big curtain made out of clothes. These are really dark. He introduces the cast: Gilligan, the Sizzler 2, the Broiling Air and his wife, the Movie Char, Scary Ann, Blowfresser, Scary Ann, and we all came out with our holes through the curtain, our heads through the curtain. And then we tried, the professor told us that the only way to get the cannibals, the volcano to blow up, was to convince the cannibals that they could dance. And so Ginger and Marianne and all of them did their best to try to get the cannibals to dance. What finally got them to dance is I fell off the bicycle running the phonograph, so the record skipped. The cannibals all came up on stage and started grabbing me. They threw me over to the hot pot, and I put my hands on it, and it made a sound, like a drum. And then I went, ah, ha, ha, ha. And they backed up. And so the skipper says, do it again, do it, keep hitting it. So we bump it up, and they backed out back. And then we started a big dance number with, singing the song. Boot Scoot Boogie? No. Anyway, some great song. There may be a clip, there may be a video clip, but if there's no sound, it's still, the scenery's kind of cool. And then the volcano blows up, fire starts all the way down the scenery. We mean all those silk fires that come flying out. That's still shipwreck. And yeah, there's the cast, the main cast.
Oh, that looks really great. Oh, that's funny. I think Rachel's working on trying to get some video with audio.
Oh, okay.
Zoot Suit Riot was the
Yeah,
song.
that's it. Who said that?
Mr. Scott.
Oh, okay. That's the, I think, Mr. Scott.
You switch over to, you can see the live comments.
Oh, I just turned them on. I didn't
You
see.
scroll
That'll
down.
distract me. I can't talk with those comments. Love you all. Thanks for watching. But I can't remember what I was going to say about that.
Oh, Boney Island Scott. Oh, okay.
Well, if it's Scott, Mr. Scott, then he's the writer of all of these things. So, and also lots of voices. He did the voice of the skipper in this one. I rarely did my own voice. I did my own voice for the speaking lines of Gilligan, but when he started to sing, Jeff took over.
Wow, this looks really great.
Oh, there's the cannibals reacting to my hitting the.
Eh.
And then we all go dun 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 when that song starts right there. We're all thinking, what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? Like we're planning our choreography in that little, 1 minute plan right there.
How much rehearsal did you guys do before every show? Like, and there's obviously like really elaborate and planned out choreography. Like how long would you spend choreographing and rehearsing these shows?
Well, typically we would not even record the music until around the 15th of October.
Wow.
And my friend Dawn, who is not in this cast this year, the one who worked at Jerry's and sold us the bowling pins, she would work out the choreography with the guy and the tall guy with the girl in the red hair. They would get to rehearse all the time, but I was always running around, so I got the very little rehearsal. She'd call me aside once in a while at night and go, "Just learn this step tonight, please. We got to get you in. We got to get you up to speed." So we made a lot of mistakes, but I probably made more than most.
And you just did this for one night, right? On a Halloween? No.
Sometimes 2 nights. It depended on what night of the week Halloween fell on. If it was on a weekend, we'd usually do 4 nights.
Yeah.
If it was in the midweek, we would maybe do 2 nights around Halloween, and then the following weekend or the weekend before. Sometimes we could only do it 2 nights.
And again, just for the people that are just joining us now, this is all being performed in front of your house on your lawn.
Yes.
It's just absolutely incredible. And it's so beautifully situated so that you can stand on the street and look up to it as if it was on the stage.
Sightlines are real nice. And there goes the volcano. Because our lawn was so sloped, this is the first year that we actually built a stage. We're up there on an actual stage that the Plotskys built, which is the name of the construction guys that our friends Scott and Matt and John Mueller and all them they're all the heavy machinery guys. They would build us this level stage so we could perform better on it.
Wow.
Years later, and I don't even know what year it was, but when my partner and I hardscaped our front lawn, we actually tiered it so that we didn't have to build a stage anymore. We had a built-in stage, which is still there to this day. It better be with cement.
You made out of cement? No,
well, it's a cement wall with now fake grass behind it.
What year was the Grilligan's Island?
That was 2000.
2000. All right.
Yeah.
And then what? Oh, there we go.
Oh, yeah.
Just the audio.
Oh, you got just when we did the bang. Yeah.
Back it up just a little bit.
With a smile from 7 sharp broadcast aways here on Grilligan's Island.
You can see the whole set's on fire.
No baking, you two.
Can we pause it for a second?
Okay. Philbert.
So in between Boney Island and this was 9/11. So we had the show written, designed, and we were starting early production on it. And then 9/11 happened. So we we didn't dare put this much work into a show, you know, in October after we didn't know if there's going to be curfews or anything that was going to keep people from going out on the street. So we didn't want to put that much work into this. So we had to do something. So, and I wish I had pictures. Maybe I do have any pictures of the pumpkin patch? Anyway, so we built this big red, white, and blue pumpkin. It was about 7 or 8 feet tall. And we built a little pumpkin patch garage thing. And we called it Pappy and Polly's Pumpkin Patch. And we would put out flyers, and we would have kids bring us their pumpkin that they've carved. And we had the whole lawn was covered in these little tiny platforms so the pumpkins wouldn't roll away. And each one had a light mounted to it that was turned off. And so they'd bring us their pumpkin, and we would go, where do you want to put it? And they could pick a location on the grass. And then we would take it back to give it its special treatment or something like that. What we really had to do was drill a hole in the bottom of it. So we took it backstage. We made all this noise, like rah, rah, power tools. And then we'd bring out a cookie sheet with a smashed pumpkin on it and go, oh no, we're so sorry. Look what happened to your pumpkin. And these kids were like, no. And then another actor ran out and said, no, I found it. It's perfect. So they just lit up, and then we put it on its little platform and reach inside like we were lighting a candle and twisted the bulb and turned on the light. So we ended up, and we were going to donate $1 to the Red Cross for every single pumpkin that we got. And it was 7 days of donations. We made $169 that we wrote a check to the American Red Cross. But we never actually had 169 pumpkins on the lawn at the same time because they started rotting.
Right.
And not only rotting, but just like melting.
Yeah.
The lights inside of them or whatever. And it was the biggest mess. But it warmed a lot of people's hearts. So
that is nice.
It was worth it. So we tabled this show or shelved it until 2002.
Let's play the video.
This video is 53 minutes long. I doubt if you want.
Noreen, here we are. Don't you just love it?
Are you sure this is the right place?
Madge, you said this place was a fixer-upper. This is more like a tear-downer.
Allow me to introduce you two lovebirds to your new home. Hazel Woo. Hazel Woo.
Hazel Woo?
Yes, exotic sounding, isn't it? You'll be the envy of all your friends.
Are you kidding? Do you know how much remodeling I'll have to do on this dump?
I know. It's a little run down and drab, but that's what makes it such a bargain.
Pause it for a second.
I wonder for such a strong sell. Well, maybe your wife can help you.
I love the Hazel Woo joke. I wonder if that's where the writers from BoJack Horseman got that joke.
Well, we had already picked out the songs that we were going to do, and they're both ABBA songs. And the dance number song that we're doing is to Waterloo. And when Scott and I were brainstorming writing, he wrote a lot of this, but this one we did a lot together. We were trying to think, how can we work in the name of the house to rhyme with Waterloo? So I said, what if we have a name of it? And I just threw it out there. Like, what if we have a name of the house that's called, Hazelwood? I just made it up. And then the D falls off. It becomes Hazelwood. and so then that just, it makes, when that's revealed later in the show, it's very funny.
It's so funny. So what was your inspiration behind this? Was it just ABBA, or what was your inspiration for the story that year?
I don't remember, except that I wanted to build a really elaborate moving set. And this one was the biggest. And when we have our kickoff meeting with all of our crew, they meet, we have a barbecue. I reveal the theme that we're going to start for this year. And I had a little scale model of this built out of cardboard. And what happens is, and if we fast forward the video, the first song takes place on the grass in front, where we're being introduced to the ghosts that live in this house. Ultimately, we want to get rid of the realtor who's in it for the money. So we get together with the ghost and we decide we're going to scare her away. But the big transition scene is when the house turns from an exterior scene to an interior scene. And in my model, my crew's out here in the backyard and they're watching, and I go, and then when we change, this wall opens up, this wall opens up, this wall swings up, this whole piece swings around and becomes the back. And they all were like this, like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Like gasping. They didn't even know what to say because it's super complicated. But it became a challenge, but the outcome to this day is my favorite transition we've ever done.
Do you have the time code for that so we can skip to it?
God, not handy. Can you just fast forward this? And these videos are so dark on my screen. I hope they're not as dark on
Like
yours.
the heavy stuff.
But don't you think it looks kind of
So,
creepy?
If you can fast forward it,
Yeah, let's kind of skip through it.
you'll
If you
see
can.
her go in the house to make sure the power's on and blah, blah, blah. We're about to escape, and then these two ghosts come out and convince us that they're not scary. And that song was Money, Money, Money. Okay, there's the interior. So it already changed.
So right before this, then.
Yeah, there. Well, keep a little further back.
Scary, scary, scary.
Not so scary.
It's a very
You can let it run. For
We gladly welcome you to our own house that's not so scary.
It's not scary.
It's a friendly house that's not so scary.
It's not scary.
It's a friendly house that's not so scary.
It's not scary.
It's a haunted world.
That's my sister, by the way, who always plays my partner.
It's our haunted world.
What's that racket out here?
We've just been talking it over.
With who? Why don't we go inside where it's safe? I mean, warm. Wait till you see the interior. You're gonna love it.
Here we go. Whoa. Disco ball.
Of course, for a finale.
You can hear the audience go, whoa!
And look,
Yeah.
it even comes with the original furnishings at no extra charge.
Here comes the
Check
mirror
out these
effect I told you about.
bright antiques. Oh! I just saw something horrible in the mirror.
You'd think she'd be used to that by now.
What the? This chair has a broken spring in it or something. Oh! But I'm sure you can fix it. And get a load of these solid oak beams and the wood molding. That's old world craftsmanship. Oh! What are you laughing at? This place is haunted.
It's not haunted. It's got atmosphere.
And we have nothing to fear but atmosphere itself.
Oh!
That's the painting behind me right there.
Oh, the painting, yeah. That's so funny.
See,
You
honey,
know what?
they're not so bad.
Let's
But
skip through it a little bit more.
With a bunch of
Rachel.
ghosts.
If they scare off salespeople like her,
We get to it's a song. What was the big finale for this show?
If she could go back, I know what you're showing the 53-minute version, which has all of our shows in it in a row.
Okay.
The finale of this one was when this box routine. If you could, yes. You did this box routine. Oh, good. Anyway, you did this crazy box routine, juggling them, switching places. And then it ended.
Nice.
So while the house closed up, Jolene runs the sold sign down to
Bold.
the house closed back up.
Amazing.
And then we had 12 minutes to go backstage and have a beer. Then do it all again.
Wow. So what's this next one? Is this the next year or?
Oh no, the next year we did the Burbank Mall. We did Experiments in Terror, which was a walkthrough. And I always wanted to go back to the walkthrough, not always, but I really wanted to make some money on this thing and do a professional, real walkthrough. And looking back, it was a headache, as you can imagine. It was just more work than we ever imagined. It's where Old Navy is now.
Okay.
You know that spot? The merry-go-round was right outside of our front door, which pretty much killed the scary theme. But we rented that space for 3 months, a month to set up, a month to run the show, and then a month of teardown. It cost all in to do the show, costumes, permits. We spent $60,000.
Wow.
And we made $57,000.
Oh.
So it still cost $30,000.
So close.
Same amount it cost us to do these lawn shows, but it was really cool, very well received. Still kind of before social media took off. It was 2003.
Did you have like radio ads, or how did you get?
We had ads in like LA Weekly. I mean, like an ad in LA Weekly was.
Oh yeah, LA Weekly. Like, oh yeah, of course.
Brand or something.
Yeah. That was like, I remember LA Weekly was huge. That's how everybody found out like what shows were where and when. I totally remember that now. Like in the back, you would see like you'd find out like who was going to be playing at the Rainbow or whatever.
Yeah, we had a big banner over San Fernando Road in front of IKEA, between like California Pizza Kitchen and IKEA. Mm-hmm. We did as much as we could, walking through the streets of Burbank, passing out flyers. And it took a long, we were open 21 days over the course of the month, big weekends. And then as it got closer to Halloween, we would open, Wednesday to Sunday or Saturday. And it took a toll on everyone on my team. I mean, we even had to have an audition to find more actors because it took about 30 actors to run it. And by the time it was over, I mean, if we could have just run it for another week, we could have made money, because we started making good money right at the end. Word was spreading and the crowds were out the door. Like the first time the line was out the door, we were just like, woohoo! Yeah. But we're going to make it. We're going to be rich. Like, I'm so sick of this. Tear it down.
Oh, man. So what became of all those sets? So they just,
Well, it's really funny because we got to leave a lot of the stuff we built. We had to build everything out of steel studs. We had to have inspections, and we spent so much money on, we had to buy emergency lights and exit signs, and every emergency light could only be connected to one cord all the way to a breaker box or whatever. We couldn't put them all together like we usually do, So we had to buy all these super long extension cords, and they had to be hardwired. And there was a lot of hoops we had to jump through. Yeah, it's tough. It kind of ruins the fun. Yeah, I realize it's for safety and all that. But so when we tore it out, we basically just took everything that wasn't nailed down and left everything else. And after we had moved out, it became a little pop-up store that sold Lucky Bamboo and stuff like that. And we cut some of our sets out from the back and brought them up into the front, which is the lobby where their store was. And so we could see our scenery again.
How funny. That's so funny.
And then that all got bulldozed and became Old Navy. So.
Yeah.
And then, go ahead. Well, I was explaining the next video that she had just started to play was when we came back. My team was exhausted and said, there's no way we could do another show. It's too hard. We have to write music. It's too late. So I said, why don't we do just snippets from all of our shows that we've done? So we called it Gravest Hits, and we did all the best numbers from each show.
Was that the same year as the walkthrough, or the following year?
No, it was the following year.
Oh, okay.
And when the show opened, that is a scrim you're looking at. and there's a fortune teller that I don't know if that's.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is with grave apprehension and ghoulish delight that we welcome you tonight. And now we invite you to relax, pull up a tombstone as the Graveside Diner proudly presents your dinner. Eat owl.
Eat our dead. Man can't live on only bread. Grab a shovel and
This is the song from Graveside Diner.
Mm-hmm. Eat some veins, try a nerve. Why they're dying to get served. Buried flesh is so nutritious. Rigor mortis,
it's delicious.
Bodies rot, turn to dust. So quick dining.
That's so amazing.
Why not picnic on cadavers as they rest? Go on, exuma stiff. You'll join us fools then if you eat our dead. Eat our dead. Eat our dead. Eat our dead. Eat our dead.
What's the lyric? Eat our dead?
Eat our dead, yeah.
Yeah.
And we, Scott and Bobby and Bryce, Bobby and Bryce were the singers, Jeff, they entered it on a Mark and Brian KLOS, I don't know, spoof song thing, whatever, and they ended up winning like the prize.
Oh, that's awesome.
Just for the music, not even for the dancing and all that.
How funny.
And we're all wearing costumes from each of the old shows that we had in our storage lockers.
Wheel her out.
So this was the finale of that particular show, the last song. But the songs leading up to that, Little Mermaid. This is the Wizard of Oz show, which is also one of my favorites. I don't know how much more time we have.
Well, let's just kind of skip through the rest of the video. Where were we at with that?
I think you're going to see. We called this one Twisted, and it started with my sister, who was brilliant in this role, which she wouldn't let anybody see her rehearse. She stayed in the back and rehearsed all by herself, and came up with all of this choreography. Beautiful song. Spoof of Over the Rainbow. First whole scene is in black and white, as you can see. Dreaming of going to a better place where the cool kids are, where music is the thing, and she's singing. She wants to be in a rock band, and the whole time it's happening, there's this twister coming in the window, and then it hits. She goes, maybe this is our ticket out of here. And then the whole set splits apart and becomes this beach scene where the Wicked Witch is the lead lifeguard.
Rachel, let's go back to see if we can see the scene change there. There you go. Let's just let it play. That's a projection screen.
That was, yeah. Which she spins around and becomes the lifeguard tower because it was built on the back of that piece of scenery. The projection screen gets lifted up and turns into the awning of that restaurant right there. And then the other side. And then we threw her in.
Dude, are you okay? Tornadoes really
Texas Witch.
Oh, Toto. I have a feeling we're not in Kansas anymore.
Right on. You're in the Golden State, man. The weather is always perfect, so you could decompose in the sun and surf all day. I'm Brian, but everyone calls me the Brain.
How do you do? I'm Dorothy from Dellsville, Kansas. Pleased to meet you.
Dudes and dudettes, check out our new friend, Dorothy.
Hi, Donnie. I'm Rusty. Groovy to meet you. And this is Leo. Don't be afraid, you scaredy cat.
Well, I'm not afraid. I am afraid. I am afraid.
If you don't end this racket, you'll all pay. That goes for your little band Toto, too.
All right, let's get to the next one then. So you did this, and then
That's the last video of this thing, I think.
okay.
I probably sent her a clip of our very last show, which was Dead of the Class, which was High School Musical.
Yeah. If we have that one, Rachel, let's pull that one up. Yeah, this is the one that I saw with my own eyes.
Oh, you did. And this is one of the first times I ever got to have my voice in it. And I play this very drag queen, Witch of the West Coast. Or no, Witch of the South Coast, Plaza. So
Rachel,
this,
it's a different video. This isn't it.
oh, there you go. That's
Oh, is
High
this it?
School Musical, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. She needs her pom-poms back. He wants his spring music back. So let's bust our castle out. We'll get our things.
They all came back from the dead to witness the time capsule being opened after 100 years for high school. They said, screw that, they want their stuff back that they put in it. So I got my letters for my track outfit.
Perhaps we'll find with the world. And now that we all agree, let's go back to high school.
Another one of my favorite transitions is coming right now. See our makeup?
Amazing.
It's all
black light.
Black light, yeah.
Calculations were correct.
Yeah, I remember seeing that and just being like, what is happening? Oh, it's so clever. It's so clever.
Yeah, and live you could see it a lot better because the whole top lifted up and the sidewalls came in. And
again, everybody, this is
now
in
it's just
front of your
dancing.
house.
And if you drive by now, today, or the next few days, you'll see a lot of these set walls they put up for what we're doing this year.
Yeah, that's
I don't have a picture of that.
no,
Oh, yeah,
but let's talk about that. So how many years has it been since you last did one of these shows, and are you in the reveal that you're doing a show this year?
Well, this was 2006,
Mm-hmm.
and then we went back to just elaborate decoration, no
Mhm.
live acting, some projection, some stuff, and then 2010 is when I got the White House call, and so we didn't do a show at all that year. I don't even think we put a pumpkin in the window. And then 2011 back to decorating, and then 2012 is when I got a call from the people at the Goratorium, Eli Roth's Goratorium in Las Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
They were promoters that did nightclubs mostly,
Mm-hmm.
and they wanted to do a year-round haunt. And they heard about me. They interviewed me, and the White House really sold them on the fact that I know what I'm doing. Crazy. So that was 2012. Oh, here's the White House.
Oh yeah, it's great.
You want to go through a few pictures of this, or
Yeah, let's do
I
that.
don't know how long you have for this, but that's me in the Dracula outfit. Adam Bizark was the client that hired me, and there's Michelle and Brock. I figured out ways of, again, we couldn't touch anything in that White House. We couldn't staple anything, tape anything. I finally convinced them that we could use command strips on the tops of columns
Mm.
that no one would ever see because you could peel them right off. It's not going to hurt the marble.
Mm-hmm.
So this is my design for the Harry Potter kind of floating candles throughout the whole State Hall. I forget what it's called now, but and you can just scroll through them. And this is as many drawings as I did. I never did anything more really detailed than these.
You just had to do some drawings just to get the White House to buy off on it, probably.
Yeah. And then I rented a friend's warehouse, and that's where we built everything here in Burbank. Working with Lisa Pasamonte's company, did the lighting.
Mm-hmm.
There was another company, I think it was called Legacy.
Didn't Stephen Young work on this too, the lighting?
Yeah, he was with Pasamonte, or Visual Terrain.
Visual Terrain, yeah.
Yeah. They wanted to have a dance area, so I made that disco skull, and prop shopping, you know. And the first day we got there, we went through the White House, and they said, "What pieces do you want removed from all of the different rooms?" We're like, all of it. So pretty much cleared out the rooms. My cousin lives in Pennsylvania, so she and her husband, or her boyfriend, went to all of these farms and just bought as much cool stuff as they could and loaded up a truck and drove it out from Pennsylvania. And that's what you're looking at now when they opened up the back of the truck.
Wow.
Cool. Here we are stringing the strings that are going to hold the floating candles. We had these like rolling scaffolds in there. This turned out to be, that's the DJ's booth, and this is like the dance floor and the party area. And all of this was for a 2-hour party.
Yeah.
We had a magician in this room. We built that sheet-covered furniture is just kind of, it's just cardboard that we had folded up and then covered it with a sheet so it looked like we were covering.
You know, it's funny. Like I worked on the audio for this this party, and this is the first time I'm seeing all these pictures of it.
So these are some scenes of how it looked during the party.
Wow, it looked really great. Wow. It's that signature Stephen Young lighting. The blue and orange and red and pink. No, that's great. Look at that.
The most interesting thing about this part, what you see there, that's the porch where they were giving out the trick-or-treat candy. We built that ring with all those bats and just engineered it ourselves and figured out how we were going to rig it up into the existing chandelier. And we just did it. And nobody checked on it. Nobody was like, I mean, the president was going to be standing underneath it. No one like checked our work to make sure that the
like
rope
life safety.
What?
Like the whole thing wasn't just come crashing down on the president.
We could have just gone, ha ha, boom.
Jesus, that's crazy.
There's a before. That's like, I think the next day they had some sort of press photography in that same hall.
It all had to come out.
Party in, and we were like, oh, look at it now.
That's so great. So let's talk about. So then you haven't done another show since then in the front yard.
No.
So can you reveal now that that this year are you doing something this year?
I'm doing something this year with a skeleton crew of masked workers. In 2016, my sister had a big birthday, and so I built for her party in a parking lot over on Providencia Street a replica of the Pickwick Drive-In.
Yeah,
Pickwick. It's over there where Pavilions is now. And so for the past 3 years, that's what's been on the front lawn, or 4 years. And so we put up the big movie screen, and we would show that clip or that 53-minute video that Rachel's been pulling from just on a loop. So old fans can come by and watch the shows and stuff. And it's still pretty elaborate. But last year I decided to retire that show and go back to scary again, back to the roots. So we were going to do a really good graveyard, a big mausoleum with all kinds of effects in it. And then everybody's doing all these drive-through things and all that stuff. So I spoke to my neighbors across the street and I said, could we do some sort of a set that doesn't necessarily connect in the middle, but they connect thematically, like across the street? So we brought everything down to right at the curb, and it's going to be cemetery with a mausoleum and like the caretaker's quarters where he would keep his tools and all of his creepy stuff. And my yellow truck will be sitting there with a coffin in the back of it as if he parks it there in his little thing. And then somehow devise a candy chute so that we can catapult or launch candy at kids out in the cars. I don't know.
So this is all going to be geared towards a drive-by experience, right?
Yeah. And I haven't named it yet, but that'll come. We're ignoring COVID completely. We decided not to do any spoofs of tombstones that say anything about that. We're just going to bring it back to tradition Halloween and just make it the fun it's supposed to be.
That sounds great. I mean, man, boy, do we need something fun like that this year.
Yeah. So everybody, we just started Saturday setting up the stuff, and we're using all the old set pieces that we've torn down and stored from other shows. So you see a piece of High School Musical over here and a piece of something else over there.
Keith, do we want to tell the people like where you are, how they can see this, like the street and the location?
We have such weird feelings about that.
Yeah. It's just something people can discover as they're driving through Burbank.
You can probably figure it out.
Yeah.
I'd rather not say, just for the for my neighbors and stuff, because when it started getting so big. In fact, the news came one year when we were doing one of the, I can't remember which one it was, and we saw the news van pull up, and somebody got out with a camera. We were mid-show, and we stopped and turned the lights off because we did not want to be on the news. We did not want to be, and that's probably a good reason that we stopped when we did, because if it was on social media these days, I mean, the neighborhood would just be overrun. And
people will come from far and wide, and especially it's like, oh, it's free, you know.
I'd rather not disclose the exact location.
Totally fine. I think that discerning consumers of Halloween fun will find you.
Yeah.
And word of mouth is and social media, like I said, are very powerful. So, you know, 2
million people watching this, right? So.
Yeah, at least 3 million people are going to be watching this. Yeah, people are going to fly in from the UK and everything. They're going to watch this.
We did have a family that came from France. One year they caught us and saw it on their yearly vacation down to LA, and for I think 2 years after that, they scheduled their vacation so they could come to see our show.
Amazing. That's amazing. Well, I'm so happy to hear that you're going to do something this year, and I can't wait to see it. And of course, if you need any help, let me know.
I will. Maybe some music. But you know, if you want to know what you can bring, low expectations.
Oh, that's so funny. So, thank you so much for coming on. I mean, like you're such a a pillar of the Halloween community here, and you've inspired so many people. I can imagine that there's a whole generation of people that have seen your shows and have been inspired by them, and will do their own thing or have done their own thing. And I certainly when I was a kid, I would see things like this and be very inspired by them, and I think it's great fun. And I thank you for all of the years that you've dedicated to this. It's been incredible.
Well, thank you for being a fan and inviting me on your show.
Oh yeah, the Fright Gallery. There's a shirt. Are you selling shirts?
I made this today because I only had ones with the logo on the back.
You made it today?
Yeah, I have one of those little vinyl cutters and just iron on.
You're so resourceful, so talented, and so handsome.
Flattery will get you everywhere.
Keith, thank you so much for coming on the show and chatting with us and revealing all your secrets. And we're so excited to see what you've got in store this year. We got a few comments here of people on the chat. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I was the designer at Busch Gardens for 14 years. I did all their mazes for Halloween for 14 years.
Oh wow, that's right.
Up till year before last, they decided to bring it in-house and do just in-house design.
That's awesome.
I missed that. That was a real fun time.
The Busch Gardens, all of the Busch Gardens, or
Busch Gardens Tampa.
Oh, okay. And so you designed all that from here, and then you'd fly down there and
Fly there for 2 months and do
Yeah.
the architecture of the install. Yeah,
wow.
that's a whole nother show.
Well, we could do another show on that. Yeah. All right. Thanks so much. Stick around after the show in the green room. We can chat. And thanks to Rachel for running all the video and figuring out the audio on the fly there. I really appreciate it. And she did great. And we'll see you next week with my friend and yours, Mr. Tom Benucci.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah. So tune in.
I can heckle him on the chat thing.
Yeah, you can.
Okay.
All right. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next week.
Bye.